Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And a very warm welcome to tonight's live show. So there is some confusion about Constantine 2. Has it been cancelled or hasn't it been cancelled? Some people are saying that WB have denied the cancellation. I haven't seen this confirmation myself, and many more people are saying that it's actually been cancelled. So that's an interesting one as well. What's going to be more successful? Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantamania or Shazam: Fury of the Gods? Mixed reactions and responses thus far to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantamania, telling us that, that the film is not a great movie, but Jonathan Major's performance is really, really good. I suspect the reviews for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantamania are not going to be very kind. I think the reviews for Jonathan Majors, understandably, are going to be great. He's an up-and-coming actor. He's going to be in Creed 3. I've been told from people who have seen Creed 3 that he's absolutely tremendous alongside Michael B. Jordan. I'm looking forward to that film as well. And WB are really spending a lot of money in promoting the Flash movie. Not only will we get a full 2.5-minute trailer movie at this Sunday's Super Bowl, but there will be a TV either, I think, at halftime or full time. So they're spending a lot of money on this movie. They want to get their money back. They want to make a big profit. It's very, very important to Warner Brothers Discovery. Waz 007, good evening. Waz, hi everyone. I think it's just you and someone else in the chat thus far and me. So pretty much, hi me. Hi. Get involved. The stage is yours. Talk about what you want to talk about, and I'll react to your comments. And this is really how this live chat goes in the evening. You get involved and talk about what you want to talk about. What's on your mind? What are you excited about? What are you concerned about in the entertainment industry? And I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to give you my experience of the entertainment industry. So if you've got something to say, say it. Don't be shy. Don't just come in the chat watching. Get involved. Get involved in the chat. Smash the like button if you love me. If you hate me, smash the like button anyway. Right? Won't even cost you anything. But get involved in the chat, please. I won't buy it. I'm a very, very I like to respect people. Unless you're going to be an arsehole, I'll just ignore you. But if you've got a constructive opinion, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me, that doesn't matter. Get involved. I'm a very, very small YouTuber trying to build up my platform. Very, very difficult because I don't edit. I don't, I don't garnish. I don't have little scenes while I'm talking. It's all very, very basic and unprofessional. But I do know a lot about the entertainment industry, and we have a lot of fun and banter on our live chats. Santos L. Harper, my hype for Shazam is 0, to be honest. I hate this word, but it looks very, very mid. Well, listen, it depends what you think is mid. I mean, I don't think it's any more mid than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And the only hype really for that film is Jonathan Major's Kang the Conqueror. Now, in terms of mid, if you mean it is not forwarding a story within a universe, you are correct. But what I know a lot about this film. I haven't seen a test screening, but I know about it from people who have seen this film. It's a very emotional film. It's a very Star Trek Wrath of Khan kind of film. The stakes are very high. For Shazam, this is Shazam's story. So I think if you went to the cinema to see this film, from what I've been told, you will have a good time. If you're a fan of cameos, Wonder Woman will appear at the end of this film. And the reason she appears isn't just for a cameo. It's for a very, very important reason. Shazam will need her help by the end of this movie. So I think if you go and see this movie, Santos, and you don't have to, if your allegiances are elsewhere, but what I'm saying to you is it's a hugely entertaining film from what I've been told, and it wouldn't surprise me if it makes more money than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I actually think it's a better film as a whole. As a film, it's a better film than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. John, John, I did not enjoy the first Shazam movie, so I have no hype for the second one. I really enjoyed it. Did I enjoy it as much as a Snyder Cut? No. Did I enjoy it as much as Man of Steel? No. Did I enjoy it as much as BVS? No. Did I enjoy it as much as Wonder Woman? No. Did I enjoy it as much as Aquaman? No. But I did enjoy it. My nephews and nieces absolutely loved it. It's for their type of audience. But I did get a lot out of that film. I thought it was good. It did what it needed to do. It was hugely entertaining. I thought Zachary, Levi, and Asher Angel and the lad who played Freddie Freeman were absolutely tremendous. I thought the young cast were absolutely fantastic. So I did enjoy the first one, not as much as the other DCEU films, but I still got a lot out of it. Waz007, David Hasselhoff's daughter gets married today. My commiserations to her. Waz007, I hear that Henry Cavill and Gal Cat Shazam 2. Right, I think you're getting a bit confused with news. So, it's been said that Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, Sasha Calle, and Michael Keaton have been cut at the end of the Flash movie. But Gal, I don't think, has been cut at the end of Shazam Fury of the Gods. They're teasing her for the movie. They've shown little snippets if you're in a Wide Awake Club. So I don't think that's true, Waz007. But I am looking forward to Shazam Fury of the Gods. I think it's going to be a very good movie. Is it going to be the best superhero movie ever? No. Neither does it have to. Not everything has to be the Joker or the Dark Knight or the Batman, depending if you like the Batman or not. But it's a good time in the movie theatre. And I think there's a big difference between Shazam Fury and the Gods and Black Adam. And I'll explain to you how and why when I read this comment. Santos El Harbour, can't believe they didn't bring Mark Strong back. He was amazing in the first film. Now the Mr. Mind and end credit scene will go nowhere. Right? There is a rumour that Mark Strong made cameo in Shazam Fury of the Gods. Now, I don't know how true this is. I am disappointed, like you, Santos, about, the Mr. Mind thing going nowhere. And I don't really know why they did it. And it is disappointing. It is what it is. But yeah, you expect the post-credit scene to go somewhere, and it didn't. So, yeah. So the reason I think Shazam Fury of the Gods is going to be a better movie than Black Adam and a more successful movie is because The Rock decided literally to make an independent movie. WB and Hamada had very little, if nothing, to do with that movie apart from insisting of the Amelia Harcourt cameo. So he was doing whatever the fuck he wanted. And when you don't, in the industry, if you don't listen to people of experience and you ignore people and you insist on not having connections to the Shazam universe. Now, I know he had the wizard Shazam in it, but Shazam should have been able to appear in this movie. But he didn't want to connect the two things, and he paid the ultimate consequences for that. Now, this film is produced by Peter Safran. Peter Safran's a very clever producer. He's now the co-CEO of DC Studios. I think Shazam Fury of the Gods will be a very, very good film. Waz007, I'm not happy if Henry Cavill cut out and keep Gal for Shazam. Waz007, any new Star Trek film? Nothing whatsoever. Last year, they quickly informed the cast that they would be doing a Star Trek 4. I think most of the cast found out on Twitter, and they weren't very happy about that. But there's very little news about Star Trek 4. A few years ago, there was a rumor about Quentin Tarantino directing a Star Trek movie, which would have been amazing, but that's not happening. Waz007 rumor, Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth team up for Star Trek 4. That was going to happen before. We're not sure if that's still happening. That's an old one. John, if there is a post-credit scene with Shazam 2, do you think it will go anywhere in the new DCU? Very interesting. I think there is at least one, maybe two post-credit scenes in Shazam Fury of the Gods. So I hear. I think possibly it could go somewhere because you've still got the Flash movie. You've still got Blue Beetle and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So that could lead to something. Also, there's no evidence to say that Zachary Levi's Shazam movie or Shazam character won't continue in the new DCU. So yes, John, there's always a possibility that whatever they tease could actually happen. Now, we know, talking about post-credit scenes that are not going to go anywhere, Henry Cavill's Superman post-credit scene from Black Adam won't be going anywhere. So, yeah, which is a shame, but it is what it is. We move on, we move forward, and we see what James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to give us in the future. So, yes, John, I can see potential things going, because they have said that the leads of this year's movies potentially could be involved in the new DCEU. Potentially. That's not definitely, but maybe. So, yeah. Santos El Harper. I don't mind Zachary, but I would wait a while and then cast the new Shazam for the DCU. Well, the thing is, if you're not going to go with Zachary Levi, Shazam's not necessarily important for the future. I don't think there's any interest from them to say, oh my God, we better cast a new Shazam. I think if they're not going to continue with this Shazam, they'll put it to bed for a very, very long time. Was 007 Zachary with great choice. Ted Cord, Blue Beetle. Maybe. I don't think they've got any plans for that, but we'll see. But as I say, they made it very clear last Wednesday that the 4 leads of this year's movies have got a chance of being involved in the future. Was 007 is Gal out at DCU? I do not know for sure, but it's not looking good for her going forward, and she's been very, very quiet since Patty Jenkins was removed from Wonder Woman 3. So it could be that she is out. It's a very curious situation. Gunn reckons she's not, but I don't know. I suspect there's something dubious going on with Gal Gadot and her future, and sooner or later they're going to have to confirm what's going on. John, I saw a YouTube video that showed the DC movies post-credit scenes that did not go anywhere. Yes, I mean, look, it's an easy thing to do, isn't it? It's an easy thing to do. Look, the first Suicide Squad movie had a great post-credit scene with Bruce Wayne and Amanda Waller, and that did go somewhere. That led into Justice League, didn't it? I can't remember the other post-credit scenes, to be honest with you. MOS didn't have one. BVS didn't have one. Wonder Woman didn't have one. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom had a couple, which I think will go somewhere. Shazam, the first Shazam, had a couple of post-credit scenes that I think were a bit of fun. Obviously, one of them was Mr. Mind, which David F. Sandberg has confirmed Mr. Mind won't be in this film. But there are rumours about Mark Strong. Look, it's easy to criticise these things. In a lot of senses, sometimes post-credit scenes are just a bit of fun. Was 007, I think all Justice League will recast. Wouldn't surprise me. John, the Green Lantern post-credit scene. Yeah, the Green Lantern post-credit scene, but that's nothing to do with the DCEU, and they never made another film, right? So how can it go anywhere? So it's a bit of a silly one to put in there, if you ask me. I think it's a bit of a cheap shot. Got to be intelligent in life, isn't you? Got to be, the Green Lantern movie flopped. They didn't make a Green Lantern movie. So how would it possibly go anywhere? Yeah, so, I don't think you could take shots at Green Lantern for being, you could take shots at it for not being good enough to make money and get another film and build out a franchise, but didn't get a sequel. So, but I tell you what, that post-credit scene in Green Lantern is pretty good. And I don't mind the Green Lantern movie. I think there's lots of issues with it, but I think OR was done good. I really liked OR in that film. Santos El Harper, Suicide Squad Joker breaking Harley out. Yeah, actually, if you think about it, in Birds of Prey, they break up. They're together. So that did lead to something. They were there. He broke her out. She was out of jail. So Santos El Harper, Wonder Woman 84, Linda Carter. Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. And do you know what? I'm glad. Sanders and Reviews, Black Adam, Doctor Strange post-credit scene. Sanders and Reviews, Doctor Fate. Black Adam, Doctor Fate that was a deleted post-credit scene, wasn't it, Sam? I mean, obviously, there are post-credit. I mean, to me, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. That's not something that riles me up. These things happen. I mean, but it's easy. Let's do a video about the post-credit scenes that didn't go anywhere. They've changed directions so many times, especially in the DCEU, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, there's a famous post-credit scene outside of the DC universe that didn't go anywhere, and it's the skeletal one in Masters of the Universe. Waz 007 here, Justice League reboot, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and Aquaman versus Godzilla. Green Lantern and Aquaman versus Godzilla. No, don't know. San Jose Harper, Justice League, Legion of Doom. Yeah, that was a plan. Didn't go anywhere because the Justice League movie flopped. Yep, that's another one. There's loads out there. There's a lot. Look, there's loads out there because the franchise kept on changing direction. Waz 007, that my idea. Yeah, I think you're going to have to, don't hold your breath on an Aquaman versus Godzilla. That ain't ever going to happen. Not sure I want that to happen. I mean, that fight isn't going to last very long, is it, Waz? I mean, Godzilla would break Aquaman in two. I like those YouTube videos with Superman versus the Hulk. They're cool. Sandy Joe Reviews, do you see them doing a Superman Lives and Justice League Mortal animated movies? Not right now, no. I don't think that's something that's going to happen. I think that's highly unlikely. I don't think that's the direction they're going in. I'm not even sure in the live action DCU if they're going in the direction of any type of Justice League. He certainly hasn't mentioned the Justice League at all, which kind of tells you it probably ain't happening for a very, very long time. They're trying to build out this universe first, and they're certainly not going to rush to a Justice League because people are obsessed with crossovers. John, only post-credit scenes that go somewhere is the MCU movies. Yeah, well, do you know what, John? Post-credit scenes don't matter to me personally. Don't really care. Yeah, they go somewhere. It's a connected universe. And in the future, in the new DCU, they will go somewhere. As I say, they've gone through different directions and different leaderships. So, yeah, but yeah, I really don't care. It doesn't make the MCU better just because their post-credit scenes go somewhere. So what? The past is the past, isn't it? It's done. I mean, the big one is the Black Adam one. That's the Superman one in Black Adam. That's the big one that's never going to go anywhere. I don't see the MCU as some superior universe. Waz 007, Van Damme film Cyborg support Master of the Universe 2. I just want to see good films. I want to see good films. If a film is a good film but has a post-credit scene that doesn't lead anywhere, that ain't a deal breaker. So just because Shazam had a post-credit scene that doesn't go anywhere doesn't make it a bad film. Santos L. Harper, the first thing that comes up when I say this was the same question that was asked in a recent interview with an online magazine called The American Press. I'm surprised they haven't got anything better to talk about than post-credit scenes. I mean, DC's an easy thing to pick on, isn't it? Easy. Everyone likes to knock DC. But nobody wants to knock the MCU for the shit that they pull. It's the darling of the media. Best thing ever. Aren't they great? Even when Even when they're not the best thing ever, they're still great. That's the problem. Waz 007, Popeye was I think you're trying to say an underrated film. Popeye was a great film starring Robin Williams. Robin Williams was a fantastic performer, and that's a great film. And he did Popeye good. Easy to knock DC, easy, so easy. Let's knock DC. That's all I ever get. And the problem with the problems within DC is because of different people and different leaderships. You can blame so many different people for what went wrong in the DCU. You can actually kind of partially blame Zack Snyder. You can partially blame Jeff Johns. You can partially blame Nolan and Goyer. You can blame a lot of people for what went wrong. Waz 007, I can't believe Popeye film flopped. So great film. It was a great film. It was. Santos L. Harper, the former DCEU, deserved knocking. No, I don't think it does, Santos. I think it's overknocked. Yes, you can criticize elements of it, but I think there's very good films in the DCEU. I enjoyed Man of Steel. I enjoyed BVS. I enjoyed the first Suicide Squad. I enjoyed Wonder Woman. I enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League. I enjoyed Aquaman. I enjoyed Shazam. I enjoyed the Suicide Squad. I enjoyed Peacemaker. So for me personally, it may not be the best interconnected franchise, but it's got some very good films in it. Nobody wants to talk about the positives of the DCEU. Always wants to talk about the negatives. Oh, it didn't connect. It didn't have enough cameos. Boo-hoo. Get over it. Get over it. Talk about the positives as well. As I say, it's easy to knock DC. It's easy to knock DC all the time. Knock the MCU. Come on, comments. Knock the MCU. Or doesn't that work in the agenda? Best thing ever. Best thing ever. Oh my God, the MCU. Wise Number said, I enjoy Man of Steel 2, Aquaman. Well, there's no such thing as a Man of Steel 2, so I can sit here knocking the DCEU. I've sat here criticizing it. John, I enjoyed the Suicide Squad and Man of Steel. The problem is with some people, unless they're getting MCU level, which is low level stuff, right? They want everything to be like the MCU. Even Guns and Saffron's DCU ain't going to be like the MCU. You may think that's what you're going to get, but you ain't going to get that. And Guns pretty much already said this isn't the MCU 2.0. Waz 007, sorry, I mean Man of Steel. Man of Steel is a great movie. Again, I can pick it apart, but I enjoyed it. I saw it about 3 or 4 times in movie theaters. So there's lots of things to criticize about the DCEU, but there's also some very good things to say about the DCEU. It wasn't led properly, as a franchise, but there's some very good films in there. In fact, a lot of the films in there are superior in every single way to the MCU. Because the MCU don't do films, they do chapters. And that ain't what the new DCU is going to be, just in case you lot think that's what they're going to be. Santos Harper, high-level art like Wonder Woman 84, Justice League, Birds of Prey, Aquaman, and Black Adam is where it's at. So, Santos, you're just going to talk about those films, right? Right? You're going to talk about a bad Wonder Woman 84, Justice League, Birds of Prey. Aquaman is a great film. I disagree with you totally, Santos. Aquaman is high art, right? And Black Adam, right, may not be the greatest film ever, but I did enjoy it. And I enjoyed it more than all of Phase 4 of the MCU. Thank you very much. Why aren't you mentioning Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman? Unfortunately, Santos, it's very easy to throw your propaganda and angle things at a certain way to try and be clever, to try and prove your point. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work with people like me who's going to tell you the whole story. So you can throw bad movies in there and say, well, it wasn't a very good thing because of those films, but you forget to add the very, very good films. How much high art, Santos, is there in the MCU? Where's the high art? Tell me. Do you approve of VFX artists being treated like shit and being pistol whipped by Kevin Feige, right? Not literally, but generally. It's all right to mention the bad stuff about DC. It's easy to knock DC. But that's because you come from a generation that just wants cameos and Easter eggs. But you don't appreciate good films. You don't appreciate Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Justice League, The Suicide Squad. Don't talk about them. There's a lot of high art in those films. There's jack shit high art in the MCU. Sam Dejan reviews. John, did you enjoy Black Adam more than No Way Home? Obviously, No Way Home's a very good film, John. That's one film in Phase 4. That's one film. That's it. And it's not really that connected to the rest of Phase 4. A little bit to Doctor Strange. But let's admit it, John. Black Adam is a more enjoyable movie. Take No Way Home out, right? Name me a movie that, I think you could argue Doctor Strange, but it wasn't all that really, was it? Waz007, Nolan embargoes Batman. One film, John. One film. One film in one phase. That's it. Which wasn't even produced. Marvel had very little to do with No Way Home. Santos El Harper, Wakanda Forever is awesome. I got nothing out of a Black Panther film without Black Panther, the Black Panther, right? Nah, wasn't all that, wasn't interested. So now, if you're talking about a mid-film, Santos, Wakanda Forever is as mid as it gets. Sam Dejan reviews. Doctor Strange 2, Shang-Chi and No Way were good. Shang-Chi was just below solid. It was all right. Santos El Harper, Shang-Chi was great too. Shang-Chi was mid. It was okay, watchable, mid. Nothing more than that. Lots of missed opportunities in that film. Lots, especially the relationship between Shang-Chi and the father. They really didn't go deep enough with that because they were too busy doing other things. Waz007, Smallville want Bruce Wayne, Nolan embargo Batman, so can't use Batman. Yes, Smallville couldn't use Batman, but they nearly used everything else. Smallville is a better franchise than the MCU and the DCEU put together. It did everything in a pre-Superman story. But I understand that this generation is just interested in Easter eggs and cameos and, shared universes. They're not interested in good individual movies. It's not about movies for some of you lot. It's about Easter eggs and cameos. That's what you've been brought up with. You don't appreciate a good movie. That's the problem. So if Santos really believes that the MCU has high art, that's probably because the food on his palate, on his plate, is not that level. Luckily for me, I grew up with superior entertainment because the movie industry is losing money hand over fist. I wonder why that is. I wonder why all the streaming services are losing money. I wonder why Netflix all of a sudden doesn't want people to share their passwords because they're in such deep shit. Because the level of entertainment isn't good enough. And most of it is mid. And there's nothing more mid than the MCU. And it ain't high art just because you get post-credit scenes that link into other movies. That ain't high art. Santos El Harper, Eternals was all right. Santos El Harper agreed. I must be branded moron. Thanks for telling me. No, Mick, I'm not calling you a moron. You called yourself that. I'm not calling you a moron. But you tried to spread propaganda about the DCEU, mentioning the not so good movies in it without mentioning the other. It's something that you lot on social media do a lot. I see it on my timeline on Twitter, the way the propaganda gets handled. Basically, you lot should be politicians, the way you try and spread fake narratives. So I gave you the full picture of the narrative, that the DCEU has a lot of high art in it, and much more high art than the MCU. But maybe cameos and Easter eggs and post-credit scenes that go somewhere is high art to you. That's not high art to me, but I was lucky to grow up in an era where talented people worked in the industry. Those talented people have been driven out because either they're straight white males or they vote Republican. You know, that's where we are now. This is where the industry is now. So what have we got? Have we got films of great variety? No. It's the same version of the last movie. And reboots. They're going to do a ghost reboot because apparently the first one had racial stereotypes. Boo-hoo. Cry me a fucking river. You will never top Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg in your creatively bankrupt era. Never. And how dare that actor who's going to be in it say it's going to be better? Oh, there's racial stereotypes. Get lost. That's super. I grew up on Marvel Comics and the MCU feels like a parody almost. I'm not worthy of you, Bat Super. I couldn't fucking say it. And you know what? Marvel fans, proper Marvel fans who read the comics tell me, I follow 2 accounts that talk about the Hulk and they're disgusted what Kevin Feige has done with the Hulk character. Do you think Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is high art? He's a fucking disgrace. He's a parody of the Hulk. Give me Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno in the Incredible Hulk TV show anytime. It's a joke to call Marvel high art and try and say DC hasn't got any high art. Are you fucking joking me? The Dark Knight trilogy, Man of Steel, The Joker, BVS, Wonder Woman is one of the most perfect solo origin movies of all time. Don't tell me the DCEU doesn't have high art. I can shit on it. I can say what's wrong with it, but Jesus Christ, don't angle me at Wonder Woman 84. Are you joking me? You're talking about Wonder Woman 84 when there's so many good movies. Individually, there's some really good solo movies in the DCEU. The Snyder Cut, there's nothing more high art than the Snyder Cut. Do me a favor. Waz007, any more new on Netflix password? No. Last time I heard they withdrew something. They basically had to withdraw the messaging on the Netflix site because people started to go mad. John, the problem about Black Adam movie is that The Rock did not act like Black Adam. Yes, we look, you can call it out. But when I sat in the cinema, John, I enjoyed the film for what it was. It was entertaining. It was good, fun cinema. That's all it was, unfortunately. And we could talk about why it didn't succeed, and we've spoken about that before. But it is, on its own, it is an enjoyable movie, and it did what it needed to do, but it didn't make money. Simple as that. And I'm not complaining about that. John, the problem about, and I've read that, Sam Dejan reviews, the problem with Black Adam is the story and villain. Don't mind the story. Yeah, the villain was very tame and easily beatable. But again, I sat in the cinema and I enjoyed it. It was okay. I spoke about it in my review, which is pinned on my profile on YouTube. I explained exactly what it was, that it wasn't The Dark Knight, that it wasn't Joker, it wasn't the best thing ever. But I enjoyed it for what it was. And people just can't accept and enjoy something for what it was. If, you know, why Netflix go downhill? Santos El Harper, Black Adam was agony, only stayed for Henry Cavill, and now that was pointless, lol. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to think of all the MCU movies that were agony. It wasn't agony for me. I enjoyed it, as I say, for what it was. At least someone went to see Henry Cavill. That was part of the problem. Henry Cavill didn't actually uplift that film. That's why they put him in that post-credit scene to try and save that movie. And it didn't work. That's why his Superman is being replaced. Because it didn't work. You can't make Henry Cavill from one kind of Superman to another type of Superman. He can't suddenly be Snyder's Superman, then be this proper comic book accurate Superman all of a sudden. That's why it's being replaced. But yeah, Black Adam was an agony for me. There's a lot of MCU films that are agony to me, by the way. And post-credit scenes that lead into things, don't save it. Don't change that. Waz 007, Pierce Brosnan was great in Black Adam. He was great. He was one of the best things about it. Santos Harper, why do you assume I'm a blind MCU shield? I'm a fan of DC and Marvel. Well, no, I did take exception, right? Because I can tell where we're going with this. You do think the MCU is better than DC. You do think that if post-credit scenes link into other movies, that makes things superior. But you did mention Wonder Woman 84 and a few bad movies, but didn't mention the other movies. So I took umbrage on that. I didn't like that because you're trying to angle the argument or the conversation or the debate somewhere that wasn't realistic. Because if you look at a lot of the DCEU films on their own, they're very, very good. So you said Wonder Woman 84 isn't high art. It's not. Aquaman is quite high art. Aquaman was beautifully directed, stunningly looking film. And I enjoyed it. It was emotional. It was compelling. It had a great villain. To throw Aquaman in there, I'm surprised. But as I said, maybe me and you have different ideas of what a good movie is, and that's fine. Sam Dejan reviews, the DCEU is a mess. They tone on the films are different each other. They don't feel like they're in the universe. But that's what you're going to get as well in the new DCEU. Because just because you're in the same universe, Sam, it doesn't mean each film needs the same tone. We've spoken about going from one country on the planet Earth to the other. They don't all look the fucking same, do they? The Animator Who Lost, the Shazam trailer and the Ant-Man trailer have almost the same amount of views, so I assume they have the amount of hype. I'm going to predict the reviews for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantamania are not going to be positive by a lot of people. Basically, I've seen how they're describing it. They loved Kang. That's all they liked about that film was Kang, right? That tells you everything you need to know. Santos El Harper, Aquaman is a screensaver movie. Oh, pretty colours, but boring story. That Black Panther did miles better. Oh, but you're not a blind MCU shield, Santos, right? You're not a blind MCU shield. You basically exposed yourself there, Santos, easily by saying that. Basically, right, Black Panther was going okay in the first two acts, but then when it gets into the third act, it's a poor man's Phantom Menace third act. That's how bad that third act is. And because we can't have a gentleman of colour as a proper villain, they dialed back on the actual villain, right? So, no, Aquaman is beyond a screensaver and way superior, in my opinion, to Black Panther. But we all know why everyone said Black Panther is the best thing ever, right? Because this is where we are today. It's not about if a film's good or not, it's about what it represents. It represented the most represented minority, right? More represented than Native Americans. Where's the Native American superhero comic book movie? But the most represented minority gets more and more representation. And did you see how angry they got with all the Asian representation in this year's Academy Award nominations? They started acting out that everyone's racist because they didn't get as many nominations as the Asian people, right? Because we all know they don't like Asian people. Sam Dejan reviews, the story of Aquaman was bad and the jokes don't agree. Santos El Harper, Zack Snyder's Justice League is better than the entirety of the MCU Phase 4. Guess I'm now a blind DC shield. Well, you're a propaganda merchant who tries to spin it again, tries to spin it. You definitely like Marvel better than DC. It's obvious. It's obvious. It's obvious. I'm waiting for the Native American superhero movie, right? Because there's lots of movies about black people. They're the most represented minority. Why didn't they like Asian Americans getting nominated? Why have they now got an investigation why not enough people of color, black people, were nominated? And that they're actually butthurt that more Asians got nominated than them, when Asian people are not as included and represented as people of color, right? These are the questions I want answered. But of course, Black Panther's the best movie ever. Is it? Is it? Was it good representation of black people? Not really. Not really. No, not at all. The animator who lost, Aquaman was coming off Justice League and had a lot of competitions, by the way, and made $1 billion. The only $1 billion movie in the DCEU. Yeah, it came after Justice League and did really well. That's a miracle within itself. But I love the Aquaman movie. I love the music. I love the visuals. I like the way it's written. Waz 007, I enjoy Black Panther, great film. It's okay. It's okay. It's not one of the best superhero films made, though. It's not. You know what? Black Panther is so overrated. And the overratedness was all political and about identity politics. It wasn't a great movie. It was not a great movie. Waz 007, I enjoy the animator who laughs. Aquaman is the highest grossing DC project. In the DCEU it is. I don't think it made as much as Joker, and Joker wasn't released in China. Don't forget, Joker wasn't released in China, and obviously it cost less to make, and it made a bigger profit than Aquaman. But Aquaman did really well. I enjoyed the first movie. I really did. I thought it was great. Better than Black Panther for me. Better villain than Black Panther. I thought Orm, Patrick Wilson as Orm, was tremendous, utterly compelling, great screen presence. Oh, but he's white, so that doesn't count, does it? Waz 007, what best superheroes films you see? Oh, well, of course, Superman the movie is the best of the lot, of course. The Joker, Batman Begins. There's some great ones out there. I grew up with Batman 89, Batman 92, Batman Returns, The Dark Knight's a great film. There's lots of great. The Batman was a very good film. There's really great. DC have made better individual movies in their history. And we're not talking about box office than Marvel ever have. But of course, all we talk about these days is the box office. But I'm not talking about, I don't care about box office. I care about my experience watching a film. I had better experiences watching films when I was a young boy in the 80s, in the 90s, and the early noughties than the shit they're putting out today. Short Circuit, there's no comparison between Ant-Man and Shazam 2. Surely Ant-Man will win. Let's see, Short Circuit. Let's see. Interesting. The only reason it may win, my friend, is because it's got Kang in it. That's the only reason. That's the only thing people have complimented about that film. Imagine that being a crap film with a good villain. How funny is that? Waz 007, mine is Captain America Winter Soldier and Batman Begins. Batman Begins is a wonderful movie. And yes, Captain America, the Winter Soldier probably is the best MCU movie. For once, they actually did a good individual movie and didn't really worry about forwarding the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But of course, that was in the early, innocent days when they made films the old-fashioned way, like focusing on making a good film. I'm sorry, I'm not going to start shilling Black Panther just because it represented black people. A film has to do more than represent the most represented minority. I want to see more Native Americans getting a chance. I don't want the loudest people who intimidate the industry to get the representation and more, and just want more and more representation while everyone else, all the other minorities, are left behind. Short Circuit, if Shazam 2 would have been canon, then surely it would have been a box office hit. Why? Well, we don't know if it's going to be a box office hit yet, do we? Or not? But why does, when you're talking about shared universe shit, I'm talking about a good movie. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, from what I've heard, is a good movie. Why does everything have to be canonical? Why does everything have to be about the shared universe? Why can't we rate films for being good or bad films rather than judging them within a franchise? John, Civil War is a better version of BVS. No, John, not in my opinion. Actually, it's a bad rip-off of BVS. Oh, yeah, they have a fight, then they write each other a love letter. If people hate the Martha moment, the love letter in the end after they fight is absolutely pathetic. So, no, John, I disagree with you there. Louis Berry, yeah. Louis Berry, Ant-Man 3 probably wins. Shazam 2 looks decent, but I think Ant-Man 3 has been marketed better. Well, they've started their marketing run because they're coming out very soon. But the marketing run has actually started for Shazam, and it's not bad. Short Circuit, John, BVS director's cut was so much better. Louis Berry, hope to get Ant-Man 3, Krasinski's Reed. You'll be lucky. Emily Blunt as Sue, Taron Egerton as Johnny, Dwayne Johnson as the Thing, Cruise is Iron Man. Tom Cruise will never be a part of the MCU. Never. Louis Berry, yep. And I don't want to see a respectable actor from my generation being involved in the MCU. Kal-El, BVS is a masterpiece. It is Kal-El. I agree. And as I say, Civil War is just a bad rip-off. Literally, they ripped off that film. It is so blatantly obvious. And the film actually mixes its tones up. 1 minute it's jokey, then it's dark. No thanks. Louis Berry, Cruise's Iron Man is mostly likely to happen in Secret Wars. I hope not. That's not what I want. I'm not saying I'm going to get what I want. I don't think Tom Cruise would lower himself. I hope I'm right. But who knows these days? Kal-El, 100% agree. Rip-off. They stole. Basically, if you like Civil War, you've got to like BVS. They're the same film. They're the same film, basically. They're the same film. So to say it's a better version of BVS, I'm sorry. As I say, it depends what you like. If you like your condensed milk in a tin, pre-packed and easily served, it's up to you, innit? But I grew up with better shit. But maybe if you're younger, you didn't grow up with better entertainment, so you don't expect that kind of thing. MSGT, I see them eventually. I just don't have wind in my sails for these movies right now. Louis Berry, Downey's Iron Man 2. Short Circuit, can we get to see Creature Commandos and Waller in 2024? I think there's a possibility, yes. Louis Berry, hope Waller sets up Peacemaker Season 2. That's something we're not going to see for a very long time, Peacemaker 2. Kal-El, I was always wanted Cruise for an older Lantern. It would tie in nice with his Top Gun arc. Yes, you've got a point there, Kal-El. I mean, I wouldn't mind Tom Cruise or Robert Downey Jr. playing an older Hal Jordan. Was 007 Nolan would great choice for Bond? Yes, I would love that. Kal-El, Peter Jackson for Lantern film would be amazing. Jesus Christ, take my money now. Short Circuit, Waller will set up Superman Legacy. I'm not sure how connected that is to the rest of the stuff. It's interesting, though. Superman Legacy is really the real entry point to DCU. I think Waller, not so much. There's so many great DC movies out there. So many great DC movies. I mean, Feig's basically admitted that every MCU film is a rip-off of Superman the movie. He makes them watch Superman the movie before they actually start making their MCU stuff. You know, the irony of that isn't lost on me. Was 007 Bale would be great choice for Bond. Yes, I mean, he's older now, but I think Christian Bale would be a sensational Bond, exactly what we need for James Bond. But it ain't going to happen. Short Circuit. Why is HBO Max chosen when HBO Max is still not available in many countries? I'm from India, and it's still not available in India. So sad. I couldn't agree more, Short Circuit. I'm in Cyprus. It's not available to me. I'm hoping they sell all the shit that they're saying they're going to put on HBO Max to other streamers, because I am fucking angry about that as well. It's not fair. We're going to get all the spoilers from the fucking American audience. No disrespect to you Americans, right? And we're going to have to wait either to get a hard copy or if we're lucky enough to have Sky, to see it on Sky UK. It's absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, DC has got a lot of high art in it, a lot of high art. And to say it hasn't is a blatant lie. And I mean, to mention, you know, as I say, Wonder Woman 84, yeah, it's easy to throw Wonder Woman 84. It's not high art. We know it's not high art. But that doesn't take away that there's more high art in DC history than there is in MCU history. Kal-El, Donner was a genius director. He made The Omen, then Superman the movie. Two completely opposite characters, and he made both memorable. Yeah, Richard Donner. Well, let me tell you why Richard Donner was successful with Superman. Because he believed in the myth. He understood that the myth was the most important thing. And he said, we're not going to mess around with Granny's apple pie and the traditions. It was an American tradition, and he got that. And that's why people love it. Donner, an amazing guy. All the pressure he was under from the Salkinds to pull that movie off, to make it look so amazing, even today. What an achievement. MSGT, Faye told Joe Russo that the announcement of BVS forced Marvel to step up their game. Civil War release 2016 too. Exactly. Tells you everything, doesn't it? I don't think they raised their game. They made the same movie. Those two films were made exactly the same time. Short Circuit, James Gunn is actually very clever. While announcing first chapter, he mentioned comic book names as well, and suddenly the sale of comics increased. Gunn is actually very clever. Yes, what he's trying to do, he knows the comic book industry is dying a death. So he's trying to, he's trying to raise the platform of comics. And yes, James Gunn is a much cleverer person than people give him credit for. He's not just an idiot who makes a few half-entertaining movies. He knows exactly what he's doing. That's why he's been given the job. So people can keep on shouting at him. It's not going to make a difference. So James Gunn is actually very clever. Yes, Short Circuit. I couldn't agree more. But people are too busy abusing him to understand what's going on. Someone had to take over the franchise. Someone had to fix the messes that were created by all the people who were involved in the DCEU before. They were never going to bring Snyder back, were they? Come on. Let's talk like sane people here. I mean, some people just live in a dream world. I don't mind living in a dream fantasy world, but some people take the piss. Aquaman, a screensaver. Yeah, of course. Short Circuit, I'm very happy that Gunn led from the front and took the most challenging job of writing a Superman movie. That's very brave, and I'm very happy. Yes, it's a very brave decision, because the decision to replace Cavill as Superman is very brave. And now he's in a position where he has to make it work. MSGT, yeah, I think some fans have just gotten used to complaining. Well, yeah, listen, look, we live in a very difficult environment today where everyone's got an opinion. Every idiot has got an account on social media. So, yeah, and the most loudest negative people always get seen more on social media. I've seen it. I've seen it on social media. How these people actually become popular and successful on social media for shitty takes. Like hot takes like Aquaman's just a screensaver and Wonder Woman 84 isn't high art. We know Wonder Woman 84 isn't high art, thank you very much. But it doesn't mean the rest of DC is shit. Short Circuit. With all due respect to Zack Snyder and Snyderverse, but I think we should move on and support Gunn. I'm happy to support the Sell Snyderverse to Netflix campaign. I think it's a wholesome campaign. Probably will never happen. Happy to support that. And I'm also happy to support what James is doing right now. because it seems very exciting. Kal-El, fans had every reason to complain, to be fair. WB lost the plot. Three takeovers in a 5-year period is bad. Well, I know we had AT&T and then Discovery taking over. Where's the third? I don't think fans should complain about takeovers. Takeovers are nothing to do with the consumer. The consumer should just be concerned about quality and what they're getting. And if they like the films and television and animation they're getting, you shouldn't be triggered over takeovers, really. It's not really a consumer's concern. And in fact, the takeover is going to be, I believe, is going to be a good thing for WB in the end. Because I believe Zaslav is a man who wants to make money. He's certainly not here to be charitable. And no one running a business should be charitable. And what Gunn and Safran are doing is exactly what should have happened back in 2013, by the way. Announcing a proper universe. Rather than making their own fan fiction. MSGT, yeah, the best thing for this was the Discovery merger, and the AT&T deal gave us Zack Snyder's Justice League. Exactly. So we haven't done badly out of it. We get an interconnected, great franchise, fingers crossed. We got Snyder Cut because AT&T were desperate, because they hadn't launched anything they didn't have anything to launch HBO Max, like fucking idiots. That Green Lantern show that we're getting, that should have been the launch for HBO Max. It should have been their Mandalorian, but no planning. So that was done. So the Snyder Cut, they took the Snyder Cut out of desperation. But that was one of the fourth stream movies in 2021. So no matter what people say, it was very, very successful. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. The reason why I know the Snyder Cut was so successful is because they tried to hide their numbers. And they didn't try and hide the numbers because they were bad. They hid the numbers because they were good. Kal-El, I won't support Gun Slate, but the Elseworld projects, yes. Up to you. Everyone's got the right to do whatever they want. But me, as a DC fan, I can't pick and choose. If I think something's going to be good and I think what Gunn is doing is the right thing, and my man Superman is in a film, I'm not going to boycott that. Why would I boycott a Superman film? Why would I do that? Just because of the identity of the creative, all right? Why would you do that? I wouldn't do that because I love Superman. I love Batman. I love Swamp Thing. Why would I boycott that? I'm just talking about myself, by the way. Why would I boycott that? Why would I go around calling Gun Slate mid, when how can you call a Superman movie, a Batman movie, a Swamp Thing movie, a Supergirl movie, right, mid? You've got to have a seriously twisted sense of humor. John, did you see any of the Wednesday series? I didn't. I haven't seen it yet. I will see it eventually, though. I think it's probably not for me, if I'm being honest. MSGT, for all we know, what Gunn is doing might be fantastic. Why cheat yourself? As I say, MSGT, everyone has the right to do whatever they want. I don't think people have the right to call James Gunn a child abuser, right? Because there's no evidence of that. Whatever those historical tweets say, whatever parties he's went to, you can't prove the man has abused children. And you're lucky, you people who are abusing him are lucky you ain't getting sued. Kal-El, Gunn has never impressed me so far. I think he takes jabs at fans. We are getting a woman of tomorrow, but not a man of tomorrow, which fans wanted. Hang on, Kal-El. Hang on, Kal-El. No, you're not getting a man of tomorrow. You're getting a Superman movie. Who gives a fuck if you're not getting a man of tomorrow? You're getting a Superman movie, right? which people have been asking for and we haven't had for years. So what's the difference? Really? You're going to say you're calling yourself Kal-El and you're not going to watch a Superman movie. Up to you. But then you try and twist the narrative saying, oh, well, we're getting a Woman of Tomorrow, but we're not getting a Man of Tomorrow, which fans wanted. Well, not every fan wants a Superman movie called Man of Tomorrow. They're just happy to be getting a Superman movie. So I think that's a bit propagandaish of you, Kal-El, personally. Now, you've never been impressed with him so far. You say he takes jabs at fans. Well, let me tell you something, Kal-El. If people started calling me the names that some Snyder fans, the bad Snyder fans, the minority of Snyder fans are calling James, I'd be calling out people as well. What do you expect? Do you expect him to be abused by people and for him not to say anything? Why should he keep his mouth shut? Why is it all right for people to abuse him? Kal-El, I didn't like Superman Returns, and I feel Gunn will replicate that. I boycotted Schumacher Batman films at the time also. Well, you can boycott what you want. I mean, I'm glad I saw Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. I had a good time with those films. Not the best takes at the character, but I enjoyed them. I would never not go and see something and see what it is. So you can boycott what you like, and I certainly feel he's not doing anything like Superman Returns. And Kal-El, there's no evidence to justify he's doing anything like Superman Returns. Superman Returns wasn't a perfect movie, but it had a lot of great moments, and I enjoyed that film too. MSGT, what Gunn announced fans are getting Superman, Batman, Robin, Supergirl, Swamp Thing, and 2 Green Lanterns. The slate is grand. It's a grand slate, but they'll never admit that. Kal-El, Gunn did lose his job for his tweets. That is factual. That is factual. But calling him a child abuser without any evidence isn't factual. And if you've called him a child abuser on Twitter, you're lucky you're not getting sued, because you cannot prove that. For all you know, he made a bunch of stupid, insensitive jokes and they were bad, and I can't defend them, but that doesn't prove what some of you lot are saying. And that's the thing. Kal-El Green Lantern should be a feature film. How do you know the Lanterns TV show isn't a lead-in for a Green Lantern movie in part B of the first chapter of DCU? You don't know that. Kal-El, not a series. Why can't we have a series and a movie later on? Why does it have to be one or the other? MSGT, but the guy who fired him hired him right back. Well, Gunn and his people made sure he got his Gunn was clever enough to basically win the arm wrestle and get his job back. I understand why Disney had to sack him, because of Disney being a family company, and those tweets weren't good. There's no question about that. MSGT, but the guy who hired him right back. I'm afraid, Kal-El, saying something's factual doesn't make it factual. A lot of you propaganda merchants on the internet say something that's wrong, but you think you've made it fact just because you've said it. Just like saying 850 million is a good box office for BVS when it's shit. MSGT, Green Lantern will eventually be a movie. There is no way they will deny Green Lantern a movie, of course, but the propaganda merchants have to twist the narrative, don't they? I see on my Twitter timeline all the time, bullshit after bullshit after bullshit, just to win an argument they can't win. John, what are your thoughts on the 90s Super Mario Brothers movie? Well, I've never seen it, but it had Bob Hoskins in it, so it can't be that bad. Kal-El, that's not something I made up. What isn't something you didn't make up? What isn't? What? Tell me what you haven't made up. That he was fired. So what? What does that prove? What does that prove? If you're one of the bros on Twitter calling him a child abuser, you're saying something without evidence. And you haven't got a constructive argument. You're not arguing about Henry being fired and being constructive about that. I'm not saying it's you, but there are people. Kal-El, there's pictures online of Gunn's themed parties. Yes, at the themed parties. But have you seen him abusing a child? Tell me, have you seen him abusing a child? How dare anyone go on Twitter calling someone that without the evidence, right? How dare they? Why not have a constructive argument? Let's be honest, Kal-El, if you're part of the Snyderverse stands attacking him, it doesn't matter who took over this franchise at the end of the day, because if it's not Zack Snyder, that person would have been abused. It doesn't matter. This is what people like this do. And if you're part of that gang, right, at the end of the day, right, it doesn't matter, Kal-El. Would you go to a pedo-themed party? Not personally, no. But it doesn't matter. Even if he didn't do the historical tweets, even if he didn't go to that theme party, you would be attacking him at the end of the day because he's not Zack Snyder. And that's the point. You would abuse any poor fucker who's not Zack Snyder. And that's the problem. And that's the problem with your side of the minority of that fandom. I love Zack. I love his movies, but you embarrass the rest of us if you start calling someone that. It makes you look like a pie eater. It makes you look like a redneck. It's not intelligent to go around calling someone that. But it doesn't matter. Even if James didn't do that stuff, you still will be abusing him because it's not Zack Snyder running DC. And that's the point. And that's my point. And that's the problem. Lewis Berry, hope to get in Shazam 2, Mr. Mind and Savannah. Post-credit scene of Cavill, Soups and Black Adam. Kal-El, Donna, Burton, Nolan, Snyder, all fantastic directors. Gunn isn't on their level. Maybe he's not. But he's got the job. He's got the job. Snyder doesn't make films for the general audience. And that's the problem. And that's why he's not running DC anymore. I love him. I love what he did. But he was making his own fan fiction. And he wasn't servicing the financial narrative that the studio needed. And that's a problem because DC is a huge IP. BVS should have made $2 billion. Man of Steel should have made $1 billion. And that's the problem. Kal-El, Snyder made an animated film for children. And how much money did it make? How much money did it make? It didn't work, Kal-El. It didn't work. He's great. He's great for an audience. He's a cult. He's got a cult fandom. His DC movies have got cult-like status, but he's no good for the money that WB want to make. He's not right for the general audience. And you know that. You know that. Kal-El, Guns the Suicide Squad was DC's biggest flop in 10 years. Yes, it was a flop. That's right. It was a flop. That's correct. But you know part of the reasons why it was a flop, right? You understand that, don't you? You understand why it was a flop, don't you? But The Suicide Squad isn't actually a bad film, by the way. MSGC, Gunn was hired as a showrunner, not a director. He will direct, but he's essentially doing the job that Feige does with Marvel. Exactly. It's easy to push propaganda, one-sided propaganda. It's easy to do that. It's easy to, to go at someone. But basically, Kal-El, whoever got this gig that wasn't Zack Snyder will be getting the same shit. It's as simple as that. Look what you lot did to poor Jeff Johns. You labelled him as a racist when he's married to an Asian lady. You lot are a joke. You attack anyone who isn't Zack Snyder. You can't even concede that the Snyder actors were abusing Joss Whedon, and that's why he gave them a hard time on the Justice League set. It's all one-sided. It's all one-sided. So whoever isn't Zack Snyder and has DC is going to get attacked. Jeff Johns is a celebrated, talented comic book writer. You lot go on Twitter going, Jeff Johns writes crap comics. Are you being serious? Are you being serious that Jeff Johns writes crap comics just because he didn't like what Snyder was doing? Are you being serious with me? Jeff Johns is an iconic comic book writer. Iconic. MSGT, Gunn was hired as showrunner, not a... John, I really enjoyed Brightburn for what it is. Kal-El, I would have been happy with Sam... Oh dear. Kal-El, Johns is good writing comics, not directing films, where he doesn't direct films, does he? He was the head of DC. But the reason that Jeff Johns and Snyder clashed, because Jeff Johns believed in what DC is in the comics and uplifting people and, you know, being accurate, right? He didn't believe in what Snyder was doing, right? That's why they clashed. That was the problem. MSGT, the haters don't make any sense. They are treating Gunn just like what haters did to Snyder. Well done. That's it. That's true. The difference now is that Gunn has the support of the studio that hired him. Yeah, he ain't going away. He ain't going away no matter what people say. Kello, Gunn fans are hypocrites. How? Basically, you're doing to him what people do to Snyder fans, to Zack Snyder. Why are they hypocrites? Why are they hypocrites? Explain yourself why they're hypocrites. Why are we attacking each other? Why are you doing that? This is the problem. Why are you attacking people who want to see a proper cohesive universe? We don't care about James Gunn, what he does in his personal life. We don't give a shit. We want someone to take this beautiful IP and uplift it for all audience, not just some of the audiences. We don't want a murderous Superman. We want Superman to uplift audiences. We don't want Batman to brand people. We want Batman to be the hero he's always been, right? And that's what we want. And we want someone to do it, right? So we don't care what James Gunn is or isn't, right? But he has the ability, and he's proved it with this slate, to do something that DC fans and general audiences are crying out for. And that's what we want, right? Because all these people calling out James Gunn with hidden MOJs and hidden profile pictures, we don't know. They're fucking serial killers. How do we know? How do we know what they do? How do we know they don't slap their wives about? How do we know what they do in their private lives, right? So the point is, he's there, and he's there to make the studio money and give DC a bright future, and I'm willing to give him a chance. But I don't think it's intelligent going after a director on Twitter. And as I say, it doesn't matter what he's done or hasn't done, because if he's not Zack Snyder, he would get abused. I'm not a James Gunn fan. I'm not a Zack Snyder fan. I like them as directors, right? I'm not a fan. I'm not taking sides, right? At the end of the day, it's not about being a Gunn fan or a Snyder fan. I'm a DC fan. That's the point. I'm a DC fan. And I want DC to succeed. And personally, I think someone who says, here's a franchise of movies, animation, streaming, and gaming, all part of forwarding one story, is pretty exciting as a DC fan. And that's the point. That's not hypocritical, right? I want DC to succeed. I'm not here for Zach. I'm not here for James. I'm not here for anyone. I'm here for DC. MSGT, I don't think Gunn has fans like how Snyder does. Gunn merely has the support of fans to get this done. Personally, I have MOS, BB, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Rebel Moon coming, and a new DCU on the way. Good stuff. I couldn't agree more. But we live in the world where directors have got fans and stands, and you know, it's just tiring. It really is tiring at this stage, isn't it? It's exhausting. It's exhausting to go through the same arguments, right? To argue that BVS's box office was good when it wasn't. That with MOS's box office was good when it wasn't, right? It's all past tense now. It's all past tense. It's done. Hopefully Zack can finish his arc somewhere, but it won't be the central DC universe at Warner Brothers Discovery. And that's right. I mean, look, if you want to argue about Cavill being replaced constructively, fine. If you want to put an argument forward why James Gunn shouldn't be there over Zack Snyder about in terms of the quality of the directors, fine, make a constructive argument. But calling someone a child abuser and that's all you've got, that's not a good argument. That isn't, it just sounds vindictive. It does. You know, whether he is or he isn't, there's no evidence directly labeling him that way at the end of the day, right? And one day, One of these directors is going to sue people who come up with these blanket. You're going to get sued and you're going to be in trouble. I'm telling you, got to watch what you say. You got to watch what you accuse people of. It's serious. It's serious to accuse someone of this, and people blanketly call people names and accuse people of this, that, and the other. And one day the law's going to change, and you won't be protected from an invisible account. MSGT, the fanatics are going to ruin it all. Gunn may use Elseworlds to allow Snyder to complete his story in a few years, maybe animated, but why would he want to after the way the fanatics have behaved? Yeah, you would think that they would try and charm Gunn into giving them what they want, but instead they're abusing him. Not sensible behavior, is it? Kal-El, Snyder only wanted a 5-movie arc. DC has never been about connected universes. They always made standalone film series. Yes, they did before, but then they saw the success and the money that Marvel made, and they wanted some of that cheese. It's a business, my friend, not a charity. You can hardly blame them, can you? They want to make money. They want to make real money. They're a business. This is the problem, isn't it? I know what Zack wanted to do. I don't agree. I think that they should have allowed Zack to finish his 5-movie arc. But the problem is that it went bad. It went bad. Because he's not willing to bend the knee at all. And ultimately, you're working within the studio system. You're working with their IPs. They're giving you their money. So you have to be able to compromise. Villager, Marvel phase is okay. I mean, I don't disagree. I just wish you put it better. Abraham Herrera, Zack wanted his 5-movie arc and the studio wanted Marvel. The studio want to make money, Abraham, ultimately. That's what it is. They don't care if it's Marvel or George Lucas's Star Wars. They want to make as much money as they can. That's it. And they're a business. That's it's their money. It's their IPs. And if you're working with a director who won't compromise at all, even though he's working with your IPs and your budgets, it's a bit of a problem, right? It's a bit of a problem. I wish Zack got his 5-movie arc. Then they could have moved on. I wish they did things properly. I wish that they brought in someone who could have appealed to the general audience from the very beginning. And unfortunately, they didn't do that. MSGT, WB wanted a shared universe with 2011's Green Lantern. They wanted a Superman versus Batman movie in 2004. Yeah, look, the history in terms of DC having a connected universe isn't great, right? But there's been different leaderships and different reasons for this. Yeah, they've got great IPs. They've got great IPs, and if someone with a bit of sense grabs hold of them, and hopefully that's James Gunn and Peter Safran, that something special can happen. Now, I can't guarantee that this is going to be a success, but at the moment, it looks good. It looks like a good plan on paper. Unfortunately, entertainment isn't made on paper. It's made, it's made in the camera. It's the people will always decide. Kal-El, Justice League was an abomination. Yes, it's the most embarrassing moment in Warner Brothers' 100-year history. I agree with you. That film should never have been released. It was a disgrace. A disgrace. To this day, I am stunned that the studio released that. Kal-El, I think in cinematic history, I think you're right. Bat Super, I hope Superman Legacy is on the level of Raimi's Spider-Man. I hope so. I hope that it's not controversial. I hope it just does what people want it to do. And, I just hope, because it's very important. Because don't take liberties. MSGT, this is why this time we have the best shot at getting a good shared universe. They hired a guy who is expressly focused on delivering exactly that. Villager, if Batgirl was released, it would be another Justice League lol. But the fake jokes don't want to hear it. Well, clearly obviously Batgirl had issues. I do think there are other reasons why that was cancelled. Zaslav has spoken about a lot protecting the DC brand, and I think he probably didn't like the race bending in that film as well. and some of the other stuff that was going on. So yeah, Leslie Grace will never play Batgirl. They're going to go for a comic book accurate Batgirl because they have said they will do a Batgirl. There will be a Batgirl in DCU eventually, but it won't be Leslie Grace. So yes, it would have. I think it would have been. It would have been destroyed. It would have been. There's no question. It would have been destroyed. But I think people are disappointed that it wasn't released so they could destroy it, you see. That's where the real disappointment came. DC, for once, actually made a good decision before the shit hit the fans. And people didn't like that because they love mocking DC. So DC made a decision so they wouldn't be mocked. And people didn't like that. But I agree, Villager. Yeah, Batgirl would have been a disaster. Lewis Berry, hope it gets leaked like Fantastic Four 1994. No, I don't want it to be leaked so people can shit on it and people can shit on DC. Kal-El, Sasha Calais is out before the release of The Flash. That's cold. Yes, I like cold and ruthless Kal-El. It's not a charity. It's not a charity benefit. This is the entertainment industry. It's a business. It's show business, not show friends. She's not cut out the whole. And by the way, she's not cut from the whole movie. She's just cut at the end where she's made canon in the new DCEU. So she's not going to be part of the new timeline. That's why she's been cut. But she's still got a lot of screen time in this movie. I think we need to be clear about that. They've cut Keaton out of the third act. They've cut Sasha out of the third act. I think they've even cut out Henry and maybe even Gal. Let's see. Kal-El, why should anyone follow these movies? They lead to nothing. Kal-El, how old are you, my friend? Don't you remember a time when we just watched movies? A Few Good Men leads to nothing. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves leads to nothing. Does that make them bad films? Does that mean it's futile to go and see films that don't have a connection? Do you remember when we just used to watch movies for the sake of watching movies and enjoying a movie? So why does it matter that they lead to nothing? MSGT, you watch them because they might be good movies. I know, it's such a quaint, old-fashioned thing to do, isn't it, MSGT? But I agree, you're speaking sense tonight. Kal-El, I think I'll boycott those films too. Boycott them all. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to cry about you boycotting stuff. I don't think James Gunn's going to cry about you boycotting stuff. MSGT, that's laying them. Villager, agree. I'm starting not to be interested in DC anymore because of all the messy narratives and drama. I'm tired of it. Might as well watch Marvel since they can at least be consistent. I'm not going to respond to that, Villager, because I disagree with it. I mean, I wouldn't basically blame a franchise that's going in a new direction for what's happened in the past. I'd give them the chance, and if the first thing they do is shit, then, but I wouldn't certainly go, oh, I'm going to watch the MCU because at least they're consistent. Yeah, consistent at making mid-movies. MSGT, that'll learn them. But Villager also will say that's up to you. You obviously can do whatever you want. I just don't agree with the statement. I'd rather just watch the stuff I grew up with than watch the MCU. If I gave up on DC, I wouldn't go to the MCU. I'd open my cabinet up. I'd watch Knight Rider, the A-Team, the Incredible Hulk TV series, and all the great movies I grew up with. I had 3 channels growing up. You know why we only needed 3 channels in the UK? Because the content was so fucking good. The reason we got so much now, because there's so much shit about. Villager, well, after they made a big fuss of Cavill being back, then turning around and saying he's no longer playing Superman, I'm tired of this crap. Well, to be fair, James Gunn wasn't the one who brought him back. Let's be fair about that. I think the whole thing was a lie. I think they just said that to uplift Black Adam, and when it didn't, that was that. But I don't actually think Cavill was ever coming back, even though they said he was. I think it was a big. You're right. It's out. Look, Villager, you're outrageous. I can understand, but that certainly wouldn't drive me over to the MCU. I just wouldn't be involved with any superhero stuff if I was tired of it. Kal-El, why did Gunn keep the writers of Birds of Prey when that film flopped? You've got a point there. You've got a point. I'm not happy with that writing. I'm not happy Christina Hodgson's there. I'm not happy he's brought the Watchmen TV series right as part of the writing team, but the other guy who developed the Netflix Daredevil, that's exciting. But you're right about the other two. Villager, the WB played us yet again. Disgusting. Yeah, you're right. It is. MSGT, they have named. Zaslav brought him back. Zaslav agreed to put him in Black Adam. Gunn was then hired. Gunn decided to go a different direction. No contracts were signed. No, there was no contracts. No. As I say, MSGT, I don't believe they ever intended in bringing Cavill back. I think they said to Cavill, look, here's one last chance to play Superman. This is your goodbye. And I think Cavill was part of the Blag. I'm honestly saying that. Henry was part of the Blag, right? He was very calm when he told us so he wasn't going to be Superman anymore, weren't he? He made that statement because they told him to, both when he was coming back and when he was leaving. I can guarantee you, Henry knew he weren't coming back. He knew. People need to start understanding how this injury works. This industry, these people, Henry, actors, studios, they're all in it for themselves and their bottom line. These actors do whatever these fucking studios tell them to do. That's the truth. They're not your friends. They're not on your side. They're just here to progress their careers and their company's bottom lines. They act on social media like they're your mates. Go and watch our latest film, friends. Yeah, they're always our fucking friends, aren't they? When they've got something to promote. They're all the fucking same, whether it's influencers, actors, studios, and us as fans have got to stop falling for this Pied Piper routine. Kal-El, I have to go, but thanks for the live. It's been emotional. Take care, my friends. Yeah, thank you, Kal-El. It's been a lot of fun crossing swords with you. See you again soon, hopefully. Nothing wrong with a bit of passion, Kal-El, is there? As long as we end up as friends again. Opinions are strong, you know, people are passionate about these things, and I understand that, and that's cool. As long as people don't get disrespectful, which we didn't, which is cool. I personally think that James Gunn, his heart is in the right place in terms of filmmaking. But he's a progressive. He's like, you know, we can't forget that. I mean, you know, he's got the same ideas as the rest of them, but Zaslav ain't going to let him get away with it. But we'll see how we get on. You know, this new universe may end up being shit, but I don't know that yet. So I've got to give it a chance. If I felt the slate was bad, you know, as I say, the stuff about Christina Hodson still being a part of it all, you know, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a joke. So that is a red flag. I'm not going to lie. The Watchmen series writer being involved with Suicide Squad, you know, that is a red flag. So I like the slate, though. Let's see what happened. If it's shit, I'll say it's shit. But I'm not going to say something shit before it's been made and before I've seen it. And I'm not just going to blanketly boycott stuff. If Superman Legacy is shit, that's where I'll draw the line. If Superman Legacy is shit and it insults my hero, that'll be it for me. And I'll just watch the stuff I grew up with. That'll be the end for me. That'll be the last straw. That's my last chance. I'm giving them, right, till Superman Legacy, right? And if it's shit, that's it. I'm out. Then I am out. And I don't talk about boycotts and stuff. I'm just out. I know where to draw the line. I knew where to draw the line when Star Trek became shit and they started spreading their propaganda. I didn't start complaining about Star Trek online, just silently stopped watching it, right? I mean, I watched Doctor Who during the Whittaker and Chibnall era, but it was boring. It was bland. It did nothing for me. But I kind of going to stick with Doctor Who. But if Russell T Davies starts the old propaganda and all the shit that they do these days in entertainment, then that's it. I ain't going to watch it anymore. Goodbye. I'm not going to scream about it online. I'm not going to make a video about it. They won't be getting my fucking money, and that's it. So Superman Legacy isn't the film I want it to be, and it doesn't progress Superman how I want it. If he casts a minority actor as Superman, I'm done. That's it. that's the end for me. I won't be interested. That's the end. If he takes any liberties with Superman, then I'm not going to be involved, right? So he's got this one chance with me, right? Not that he cares if I watch his shit or not, right? But the point is, Superman Legacy is an opportunity. And if they waste this opportunity on diversity hires and shit like that, then I won't even watch the fucking film, right? So it's up to them. They have an opportunity to make, DC great. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt when the casting comes out and when the film's released. If it's not to my liking, then I'll be done. But I don't know what they're going to give me yet in terms of casting and the quality of that film. So that's, for me, that's where I'll draw the line. Let's see what happens with Superman Legacy. That's where it stops with me. That's their last chance, right? Because then we know what James Gunn's all about and if he's going to take liberties. There's no evidence right out there that James Gunn is an authority on Superman and can make a great Superman movie. But on the same hand, there's no evidence that he won't do it. I mean, he's certainly talking a good game with all the comic book covers he's showing, but we don't know yet. So I've got to give him a chance. MSGT, now, given the years of criticism over the Snyderverse and Superman, there is no way Gunn is going to do anything outside the box with this first movie. Well, I agree with you, MSGT, but because I've been burned by the entertainment industry so many times in terms of stuff, looking forward to stuff, and I've been hyped, and then it turns out shit, I just wouldn't dismiss anything. But for me, it's Superman Legacy is where I draw the line. I'll give that film a chance. Now, I agree with you. Only a psychopath would take liberties with that first movie. They need the fans on their side. They need the customer. So I agree with you. Like in a normal era of entertainment, I wouldn't be saying this, but you just don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully you're right. And I kind of, the same part of my mind kind of agrees with you, but I've seen so much shit being pulled in the past 20 years. It's unbelievable where we are now. Villager, James Gunn will flop at it. I don't believe in him with his cringe humor, even if his dark stuff isn't that interesting. Well, here's the thing. On my platform, you have to, that's your opinion and I'll respect it. I don't agree with it because I can't say James Gunn will flop because I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. There's part of me who thinks he could be successful, and there's another part of me who is a little bit concerned. And I've spoken about my concerns for months and weeks now. But I've also, said why it could be successful. I don't know. I'm not going to predict it's a flop or a success. But Superman Legacy is where I draw the line. So that's his chance. That's his chance for me. So he can't mess that up. So he has to hire the right people. He has to choose the right actors. And if he doesn't, they're going to be in trouble. Although calling Christina Hodgson a talented writer, I mean, that's the biggest red flag of all. I will say that. And he did say in his video that he's got a team of talented writers. Sorry, mate, Christina Hodgson ain't a talent. She ain't the best of the best, is she? And, at DC, we should have the best of the best. So I really don't get why she's still there. So that is a red flag. No question, Villager. Who do you think will play Superman? I want Jesse back as Lex Luthor. It's not. Jesse won't come back as Lex Luthor. That's certainly not going to happen. Who plays Superman? I don't know, to be honest with you. It's an interesting one because these days you just don't know who they're going to cast, Villager, and which direction they're going to go to. Will they be comic book accurate? Will it be a diversity hire? Who knows? The guy who played Elvis, I thought he was brilliant. I think he'd make a great Superman. MSGT, I will predict success. There's far too much money on the line for WBD to get this movie wrong. Yeah, you're right. They can't afford to get it wrong. So fingers crossed they don't get it wrong. MSGT, Jesse was Lex's son. Gunn will present a proper Lex Luthor. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. There's no question about that. Villager, they're wrongfully trusting in Gunn. They're desperate. That's why they picked him, lol. Well, they're definitely desperate, my friend. And they could be wrong to be trusting him. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And I'm not going to say the food's shit until I've tasted it. Villager, I think Austin Butler would need to buff up for Superman, but I think he would be a good given the right script. Yeah, I mean, easy for these people to buff up. They change their weights all the time, don't they, Villager? But yeah, I mean, look, yeah, he would need the right script. It would have to be done the right way. I think Austin is pretty much Mr. Warner Brothers right now, so I think he's going to be in the June sequel as well. So I'd love that casting, and especially if he becomes an Oscar winner, that'd be another good selling point for DC Studios as well. The animated who lost, honestly, there's not much to overthink. DC has a bunch of animated universes that can easily serve as inspiration for the movies. Great comics, great animation. This is why I say DC have done so many better things than Marvel. They've done great movies in their history. Their animated universes by Bruce Timm have been sensational. Let's look at the Marvel animation. Shit, compared to what Bruce Timm did. So DC have got so many things to be proud of, but people always talk about the stuff they get wrong, and that's what kind of triggers me. And that's what triggered me with a couple of the early kind of comments I had on tonight's video, and that really set me off. Because I'm like you lot, I lose control. So if I get triggered, I lose control. Villager, what we need is Tim Burton back. I would love to see Tim Burton direct Michael Keaton in another Batman film. I think that would be great. Villager, what happened last night? I don't know. But I don't know. MSGT fans quickly began seeing DC with an MCU lens. Yep, that's what they think they want. The ones who say I'm an MCU fan and a DC fan, that's a red flag for me. They're not really. They're not really. Most of the time, those people are just MCU shills. Basically, as I say, DC has got a lot of stuff in its history in terms of comics, animation, films, TV series. Smallville is the greatest comic book series ever made. Ever made. Look, it earned the right to be a superhero show. It was amazing. Batman 3 by Tim Burton under the Elseworld label would be fantastic. I grew up on those movies. Listen, they did the man dirty. They should have let him come back for a third movie. No, I don't have any issue with Joe Schumacher. Joe Schumacher made some of my favourite movies. Outside of the Batman genre, right? I don't look. He tried to go to the 1960s way because they wanted to sell toys. I think he did what he could. But yeah, I mean, what Tim Burton did. I mean, for me, Batman Returns is better than Batman 89. Obviously, Nicholson is the best villain Burton handled, but yeah, I really like Batman Returns and I like Batman 89, and I think Keaton to do one more film, an Elseworld film, would be brilliant. Villager, Michael Keaton doesn't want to come back, lol. He looks bored in interviews. I think he looks bored in those interviews. I don't look. He's come back for money. No one, listen, at the end of the day, Villager, no, I don't think he'll retire. He keeps on taking on more projects and projects. Villager, he will retire soon. The animator who laughs. The problem is that the majority of the modern generation consumed MCU and DCU content before watching the original versions. I know I was guilty of this. Well, this is why I keep on talking about animator, because of my age, because I'm 50 years old. I grew up in an era of superior entertainment made by superior creatives. This is a fact. Now, lots of older people say my generation was better than the new one, but it's true. Is anything made these days as good as Taxi Driver, Apocalypse Now, Godfather 2? Let's be fucking honest about it. MSGT always angered me as the MCU became successful. Fans started behaving as if DC hasn't had a successful history since before 1978. In the meantime, DC still cranked out Joker and the Batman. Very good point, MSGT. Superman 78, the first superhero movie, DC's first attempt at a superhero movie, one of the best, right? George Reeves' Superman series in the 50s was made for the new technology of television. groundbreaking, great series. For its time, it was a great interpretation of Superman as well. They've done, look, DC have, done so many great things. But yeah, as you say, what you say there is bang on. John, still to this day, Smallville Lex is the best live action Lex. And you know why? Because they took their time. They did the trials of Lex Luthor and Clark Kent. Alan Miles said that's basically what their version of the show was for 7 years. And they did a character-driven journey of how Clark Kent will become Superman, facing the trials as a young man. Lex Luthor, we meet him as an amiable young man, and in the end, he becomes basically the evil megalomaniac. And Michael is as good as the amiable young Lex Luthor, and then he pulls off the villain as well. It's a fantastic piece of work that I don't think can ever be bettered. Villager, Terminator 2, superior to anything made these days. Bat Super, Keaton easily has another Batman in him. If Burton comes on board and has creative control, Keaton will follow. I agree. MSGT, yeah, and how huge was the Super Friends cartoon? DC is rich with history, but they screw up the DCU and people freaked out. Yeah, one thing. It's true. People have got short memories. And of course, this generation just think about now, So the animator who laughs, the Lex from the Timeverse would be a breath of fresh air in live action. I don't know that version, the animator who laughs. Maybe you can tell me about him. Well, when they actually said they were bringing Lex into Arrowverse, I had a good idea how Michael Rosenbaum could come from the multiverse and come from the Smallville universe into the Arrow universe, and he maybe created a reality kind of machine or something, which is zipping him about. And I thought that would be a kind of good way, but Michael didn't want to come into Arrowverse, and I don't blame him after what they did to Tom Welling's Clark Kent in Crisis. That was despicable. Bat Super, Terminator 2 was the last Terminator movie as far as I'm concerned. John, do you think Michael will ever come back as Lex? I think it would have to be... Look, my impression of Michael is, because he's not really in the industry anymore, he doesn't like the industry, he doesn't trust people. When he's on Talkville, he talks about not liking this producer and that producer. So I think he pretty much knows what the industry is and he doesn't like it. So he would have to work with someone that he has to trust. I think it would take a lot of convincing. MSGT, don't care for Batman Beyond, but plenty do. A third Tim Burton Batman movie could be with Keaton in Batman Beyond movie. DD, did you see The Love and Thunder? Do you know what? I've tried to force myself to watch it, DD. I went on Disney Plus the other day. I said I'm finally gonna watch Wakanda Forever and For Love and Thunder. And I have to watch For Love and Thunder before I see the other one, but I can't force myself to do it because I know it's going to be so bad. The animator who laughs, I feel the most villains in comic book movies nowadays have to be sympathetic. They really purely evil. Yeah. I mean, I like purely evil villains, and I don't mind them not having motivations. But like these days, everything's a bit more kind of designed for that, isn't it? Bat Super, the for Dumb and Blunder. Yeah, I haven't seen it. DD, did you see Violent Night? No, I want to see that, but I think I'm going to wait till next Christmas. I don't think I could watch it now, but that sounded like a good movie, DD. For Dumb and Blunder, yeah. It was terrible. MSGT, Violent Night was really fun. Yeah, it looked like a good time, I must admit. There's some good people making films out there, but not enough. For example, the new Scream movie that they made was shit and it attacked the fans. And I hope the next one's a flop because I fucking hate these people. They absolutely hate us. And basically, in the last movie, they were literally killing all the blokes off. It's a joke. And what they did to Neve Campbell is disgusting. So I think everyone should boycott the next Scream film because of what they did to Neve. I really do. I think that's a disgrace. But I think it's great that she told them to get fucked. I really do. They thought they were going to get her on the cheap because she's not really working that much in the industry anymore. You know, Neve Campbell, once upon a time, everyone wanted to work with her because she was young, beautiful, talented. And because she's a little bit older now, they thought they could get her on the cheap. They thought she was going to be desperate. So, yeah, I won't be watching the next Scream film. So they can blag it all they want. Hopefully, people do boycott the next Scream. Dee Dee, did you see Bullet Train? Yes, Dee Dee, I did. Bat Super, Scream doesn't work without Wes Craven. Of course it doesn't. And I don't think it can be recreated. He had a very unique style. But not only that, but when you're attacking your audience, they're pricks. They're all pricks these days. They're not even people who love entertainment. MSGT, Bullet Train was also really fun. Yeah, I like Bullet Train. I mean, there's a lot of modern stuff they make today that I don't even bother watching. If I hate who's in it, and if I hate the trailers, I won't even watch them. That's it. I've made my mind up. I'm not watching you. A lot of the stuff I watch is old stuff. When I'm at home, I don't really watch new films because I know they're going to be shit. I mean, the newest thing that I quite like, and I spoke about this film, I forgot what it's called now. It's Robert Eggers. It's Robert Eggers' epic movie he made last year it came out? The Northman. Brilliant film. Like, I like Eggers. He's one of the... Robert Eggers, Matt Reeves, these are the kind of people I really respect these days. Matt Reeves also gets attacked by Snyder fans, by the way. Matt Reeves is really good friends with Zack Snyder, and these doofuses attack. Matt Reeves is a gentleman. You shouldn't be attacking him. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter, right? These people, if you're not Zack Snyder, right? Yeah, I know Matt got Ben's movie, right, and redesigned it. I get that. But Matt was never going to want to make that film. That's understandable. Villager, Snyder fans attack everyone. They're losers. Villager, I ordered Jurassic Park 30th anniversary. Tamoko, I'm excited. I hated the last Jurassic one, Jurassic Dominion. Dee, did you see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? I did. Yes, I did. I actually don't think it's as bad as some people do. I kind of got a lot out of it. I thought it was a fun film. It worked. Villager, Dominion was crap. I'm glad you... Oh, my God. It was... Don't you think it was very agenda-driven? Oh, my God. But it was terrible. I don't care about that teenage kid. I really don't care about that teenage fucking kid. The film's fucking awful. Awful, Villager. I was expecting, that's the last movie. It was terrible. How did that film make $1 billion fucking dollars? I mean, the film that surprised me was Top Gun Maverick. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I thought it was going to be shit like Independence Day. DD, Dominion was awesome. You're entitled to your opinion, DD. This is the place to get your opinion, and I will respect your opinion, even if I don't agree with it sometimes. The animator who laughs. Phase 4 ruined Doctor Strange. I don't mind that Multiverse of Madness, but already we know that female character in the post-credit scene is going to be the new Sorcerer Supreme. That's what the rumours say. So here we go again. Villager, Dominion was so bad, I don't consider myself a hardcore Jurassic Park stan, me neither anymore. I used to have a fan account on Twitter. I abandoned it, and I haven't watched Jurassic Park movies since lol. MSGT, I'm a Snyder fan. If the fanatics would just behave, they may find Gunn to be eventually receptive about completing Snyder's story arc. The problem is, my friend, this is a situation that can't wait because the actors are not getting any younger. Snyder's not getting any younger. So, yeah, I think it either happens sooner rather than later or it's not going to happen. The animator who laughs, Dr. Fate, Doctor Strange. I prefer Dr. Fate to Doctor Strange. And something tells me Dr. Fate's been around longer than Doctor Strange. The Villager, the rumours are Lion Clear is only Strange's wife in the comics. She does become the Supreme, but I don't think Cumberbatch will leave. I think for the sake, I tell you what, he's so talented, Benny Cumberbatch, so talented. And I mean, I think he should leave the MCU because I'd rather see him do more Sherlock than more Doctor Strange, because at least the people who made Sherlock are talented writers. I'd love to see him return to Sherlock and leave the MCU behind. Because basically, he could shut his eyes and play Doctor Strange. MSGT, that's why I have said that an animated finish is the most likely if it happens at all. DD, Benedict Cumberbatch is awesome. He is. He's one of the finest actors. But I just think he's wasting his talents on Doctor Strange. I really do. No, I don't know why he took the role, because maybe money or because the MCU's pop. I don't know. I'd rather make more Sherlock than do that shit. That's just my personal opinion. If I was him, even if I took the role, I'd get out. I'd get out as soon as possible. That's super. I hope Snyder makes another CBM in the future. So do I. Don't care if it's DC, Marvel, or another company. I need another one. Well, you're going to get a different type of Star Wars film from him this year, and I can't wait. DD, Chris Hemsworth is awesome. I like Chris. Chris is a nice guy. Yeah, I do like Chris. I think he's okay. Yeah. I mean, I remember Chris back from his Home and Away days, which was an Australian soap. And I liked him in his little cameo he had in Star Trek 2009. MSGT, well, they are both in Marvel, Martin Freeman. Yeah. But basically, Martin Freeman doesn't do enough to stop him from doing Sherlock. But Benny obviously has to show up a lot because he's Doctor Strange. And for me, as I say, if I had the choice, if I was Martin or Benny, I'd go back to Sherlock, just like that. Because they got money, they're making money, they can do whatever they want. They've been in MCU now. Go back and do some Sherlock, some good shit, some good quality shit. Drake player, Ant-Man gets a trilogy before Man has still ever got a sequel. I know. MSGT, yeah, I'd like to see more Sherlock. Yeah, it's brilliant. Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss are geniuses, more talented than anyone working on the MCU. If I had the choice, I'd be going back to Sherlock, my friend. Dee, did you see Batman? The Batman I did, and did you hear about the second one? Yes, I saw the Batman and I really enjoyed it. I'm excited for the Penguin HBO Max show, and I'm excited for the Batman 2 as well. Villager, I love Paul Rudd and him as Ant-Man. Yeah, I like Paul. I've got nothing against Paul. Bat Super, Rebel Moon is going to be awesome. I love everything I have seen. Yeah, it looks exciting, doesn't it? Drake Player, did you hear the ending of The Flash has Christian Bale in it? No, I didn't hear that. I did hear rumors about Christian. I heard that most of the cameos are when Barry's running through the Speed Force, and they're just little quick cameos. But I didn't hear anything about Christian Bale being in the ending of the Flash movie. Didi, are you excited about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? I'm excited to see Kang the Conqueror. That's my level of excitement for that film. And I think the reactions pretty much tell me that Kang's the only reason to go and watch this movie. Villager, I stopped caring about the Flash. They can throw in the shredder. I'm done with that movie, lol. I'm still excited for it. I'm a mug, though. I'm a sucker for this shit. Look, I said everything I had to say about Ezra Miller. You know, it's a disgusting situation. You know, they should have been handed their you-know-what's on a silver platter after everything that they were doing. But this is Hollywood, and normal rules don't apply. And I think a lot of fans don't really understand that. Drake Play, Ezra Miller Flash will get stuck in the Nolanverse. I doubt he will return to the DCEU, even if the movie does well. WB knows they can't have more bad PR than they already do. I don't think he'll be stuck in the Nolanverse. I don't think the Flash movie does anything apart from creates a new timeline and leaves it there. And I don't think they're going to kind of start showing the new timeline. I just think they're going to show that there's a new one's been created. And that's why they're cutting a lot of things out of the ending. I mean, I think Miller will be eventually phased out, but I don't know how they're going to finish it. But I don't think he'll be stuck in the Nolanverse. I don't even think the Nolanverse gets referenced in that film. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if it was me, Ezra Miller wouldn't be involved anymore. But as I say, normal rules in Hollywood don't apply. So when people try and like put moral logic to why this one shouldn't be working and that one shouldn't be working, or losing their shit because Leo DiCaprio is dating a 19-year-old young woman who's legally a woman, right? But she's a lot younger than him. To a lot of people, you see, to a lot of people, that makes Leo a child abuser, right? But he's just a guy, he's an older guy who can literally date whoever he wants. So he's dating whoever he wants. And let's be honest, all these blokes calling him out are just jealous. Drake play, Ezra Miller Flash will get, oh no, I've already read that. So, yeah. All these people calling Leo DiCaprio out are just jealous because you would all do exactly the same thing. That's the truth. It's no difference to the guys who say don't watch porn, but we know you watch porn, right? There's nothing wrong with watching porn, right? It's a normal thing to do. Gay people watch gay porn, straight people watch straight porn. It's fine. It's fine. Everyone tries to moralize everyone these days. No one's moral. Nobody's perfect. We all do stuff that society doesn't approve of. And it's okay. So if you're doing flawed shit, you should expect the famous people to do flawed shit. The problem is with famous people today, they're lecturing us, and this is where the problem begins. But Leo isn't like that. I mean, I'm a fan of Leo DiCaprio. I'm never going to call him out. I'm never going to cancel Leo. He'd have to actually break the law and do something disgusting. And, you know, him dating a 19-year-old girl isn't disgusting to me. He's not hiding it. He takes them, you know, whoever he's dating, he's with them. He's proudly parading them around. He's not even hiding it. Good for him. He could easily be hiding this, hiding who he's dating, but he doesn't. Imagine the women who are throwing themselves at him. Believe, if I was in and I had them all throwing themselves at me, I wouldn't turn down none of them. Jesus Christ. People need to start getting real in society. Get real. Get real. You'd be doing what Leo's doing. You all would. Shut the fuck up. Let's stop pretending. Jesus Christ, he's been acting since he's a small boy. He's a superstar. He's literally walking out the door and there's a woman throwing themselves at him. Yes, please. Let's have some of that. I wouldn't say no. But now society basically tells men it's wrong to be attracted to women, right? It's, you know, it's wrong to appreciate women. Drake play, I'm expecting Shazam 2 to bomb at the box office. No one gives a shit about it, lol. I think it's going to do okay. I think, from what I've heard, it's a good film. So I'm not expecting it to bomb. Villager, there are rumours that Leo is gay and has been closeted since the start of his career. Yeah, no. MSGT, they can play their social games all they want, but in the end, it still and always is about money. Miller is a massive liability for the studio and the franchise. He's done. I agree. But super, only male feminists will try to call out Leo DiCaprio. Oh, yeah. And they're the worst ones. They're the ones who watch porn. MSGT, Leo tells his girlfriend to hold his beer. She says, I can't. Don't care. Don't care. I say good luck to him. I say good luck to him. Everyone wants to moralize and look down on everyone. Everyone on the internet is just as flawed as what he is. That's the sad thing. What shit are people on the internet looking down their noses at Leo? What do you lot do when nobody's fucking looking, right? I mean, on this, I'm not going to lie to you, right? On this tablet, I've got screenshots of its Instagram first traps. And sometimes, if I've got the urge, I look at their pictures and fantasize about having sex with them. So fucking what? It's normal. It's fucking normal. But this society doesn't get that. We've all got these normal urges, right? I've said it live on fucking YouTube. I don't give a shit. There's too much moralizations these days. And you do. You screenshot hot influencers on Instagram and you whack one out when you're having an urge. It's normal. He's Leonardo DiCaprio. They're throwing themselves at him. A straight, virile man. He ain't going to say no. Villager, I've heard about the things Taylor Swift has done for her fame. I would do the same, lol. Oh, she's a monster. She's something else, mate. I wouldn't. Oh. Villager, I used to be a Shazam stan. Now I don't care. The movie will flop and Zachary Levi needs to take a class in PR. Again, I don't care what he says in real life. Don't care what he says in real life. I'm not focusing on that. The film sounds good. Let's see. MSGT, my wife is 11 years younger than me. Good. But it's not about age. It's about how you feel about that person. As long as, you know, she was at a legal age and you were at a legal age, right? And, you know, no laws were broken and, you know, no one was hurt in the process. I don't give a shit. None of my business. I'm not here to judge people, right? Love is love, right? As long as it's legal and it's right, you know, it's fine. Leonardo DiCaprio is not doing anything wrong. It's as simple as that. And all the fuckers calling him out do wrong stuff in their lives. But the difference is nobody knows they're doing it. They've got these little fake profiles and they can say what they want. And this is where we are today. This is where our society is at today, right? So as long as, you know, you ain't breaking any laws and you're not hurting anyone, I can't give a shit. I don't care that Leo DiCaprio is dating a 19-year-old girl. So fucking what? Do you think he's forcing her? Does she look like she's fucking being tied up while she's with him? No. She's with the big... She's literally using him. He's using her. Good. Good luck to them both. Who gives a shit? MSGT, judging people makes people feel better about themselves. You're right. Makes them feel morally superior. But you know what the worst thing is, MSGT? They're not. Nobody is. Nobody is morally superior to anyone. Drake player, when are you predicting we get the next Justice League movie and who do you expect on the roster? I don't think we will get a Justice League movie in a very, 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 very long time. I think you've got more chance of a Justice Society of America roster rather than a Justice League roster. Villager, apparently Baz Luhrmann was at Taylor Swift's Grammy party the other night. I think she could be signing a contract with WB soon, especially since she hung out with Robert Patt a while ago. Maybe. Well, she's getting into movies now and she's directing a movie as well. So, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of her. I love her music. But as a person, don't like her. Don't like her at all. I actually think she's nasty. I really do. I don't like her. But as a singer, I love her songs. I listen to her songs. But I don't like her as a person. I don't think someone who tries to expose every partner she's dated in her songs is a very nice person. And, you know, why has she been in so many failed relationships? Maybe, sweetheart, the problem's with you, right? Oh, no, you're a woman. Women never do anything wrong, do they now? Please, do me a favour. MSGT, I think we'll see a JL movie in Chapter 2. I think they will refrain in Chapter 1 in order to create distance and build anticipation. Yeah, look, I don't know what's going on with Justice League because he ain't talking about it. And I think, as you say, it's going to be a while. I definitely think it's going to be a while. It's not something they're going to jump into. I mean, personally, unlike some people, I'm not overly eager to, I'm not kind of feeling shortchanged because there's been no Justice League announcements. after everything with Justice League. I'm worn down by Justice League. I'm still rewatching the Snyder Cut, getting a lot out of it. So I'm not in a rush for a new Justice League movie. So when I get one, I get one. Let's build this out properly. Let's take our time. Let's do the right things, and Justice League will happen. Hopefully, it happens before I die, because I'm 50 now, right? So hopefully, I get to see one. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm not overly kind of, trigger figured about, oh my God, there's no Justice League movie being announced. There's some people saying, why isn't it in that slate? Why would it be? Too soon. I mean, was the first Avengers film in phase 1 or phase 2? I can't remember. Drake Player, do you see a Flash TV show happening in the DCU with new Barry and Wally? I don't think they're going to touch the Flash character for a very long time. And then when people have forgotten about Miller, maybe they'll do so. But I don't see the Flash being a thing after this movie for a long time. Unless this movie makes a shitload of money, like $2 billion or something ridiculous, and they have to keep with Miller, I don't think it's going to happen for a while. Drake Player phase 1, thank you very much. MSGT, I think most fans think the same there. Yeah, I'm 52. Don't care to wait a decade. Avengers ended phase 1. Right, okay. I mean, it's that Avengers movie, the first one's so good. But they made that like an old-fashioned film rather than something that was part of something bigger. The Anime Too Large, I don't think it's too soon. A lot of superhero team movies were made without being set up. But there's a lot of reasons. It's not just about what other superhero stuff does and shit like that, right? And don't forget Anime Too Laughs. This is a connected universe. But I think it is too soon. I think we've just had a Justice League. We've had a big mess with a Justice League. And I think you do need to set things up. Why is everyone obsessed with like team-ups, right? Why can't we just enjoy individual movies and build this out slowly? What's the rush for Justice League? What is the rush? MSGT, yeah, Flash is another character they need to create distance from. Yeah, I agree. So I think if this film, the Flash movie, isn't successful, you won't see Miller again. If it's successful, they'll have no choice but to use Miller again. But they're spending a lot of money on promoting the Flash movie. They're not just going to have a trailer at the Super Bowl. They're actually paying even more money for a TV spot as well. So they're really going to invest in the marketing of this film because it cost them a shitload of money and they want to make a profit. It's been a bit of a lively chat tonight. I didn't expect it to be lively because the past few ones have been dead, but this was great tonight. I've probably lost a bunch of subscribers by saying I screenshot first traps on my tablet. But we all do. We all do. Nothing wrong with it being an ordinary man, right? It's fine. It's fine. There's no law against it. MSGT, yeah, Flash is another Drake Player. The Flash 2023 to DCU could very well be what Green Lantern 2011 was to DCEU. Well, Green Lantern wasn't part of the DCEU, but I don't know about the Flash movie. I don't know if it's going to flop. I still think this could be a really good film. Vinegar is not dead because I'm here. Ha 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 ha. MSGT, same with Gad and Momoa. If they are being recast, the Justice League movie cannot be in the immediate. No, I agree. Yeah. Villager, speak to yourself, Mick Lowe. Speak for yourself. Well, listen to me. You know, if you don't watch porn, you don't watch porn. If you don't screenshot first tramps on Instagram, that's you. But I'm a hot-blooded Mediterranean man. I love to have sex in the real world, and I appreciate women I see on Instagram. Yeah, so it's fun, right? I love sexy fucking women, and I'm not going to deny that because we're part of a generation that can't handle facts. This is how real people work. The internet and on Twitter, that's not how real people are. Writing a sentence and thinking it's a fact just because you wrote the sentence isn't how the real world works. People want to fuck each other, right? People are attracted to other people, and that's okay. It's normal. That's why these ladies and girls are making money on the internet through thirst trapping, because they know what men want. It's normal, it's natural, right? And if they're okay making money over it, I don't see what the problem is. Drake play Momoa won't get recast. They want to make a trilogy. There's been no talk of a trilogy. They will probably kill Aquaman off in the third movie and replace him with Aqualad. MSGT, The Flash is not in the DCU. It is the back end of the DCEU. And the Green Lantern failed to launch the DCEU. Green Lantern, no. Green Lantern was never supposed to launch the DCEU. The DCEU is what the Snyderverse started, which is nothing to do with Green Lantern. That's where WB got stupid with MOS and BVS. Yeah, the DCEU is one thing, separate to the Green Lantern movie. That's a fact. This is Movies TV Man. I'm Mick. Your host with the most. It's all true. It's all true. MSG, yeah, but Green Lantern was supposed to launch their shared universe, whatever they would have called it. Well, that's different. Drake player, it's still funny how Aquaman is the only DCU movie that ever made $1 billion. Exactly. But I love the Aquaman movie. I think it deserves its $1 billion. And, you know, if people want to hate on that film, that's fine. But I really like it. I think it's great. It's a great movie. I think it's beautifully shot. I think it's well written. I think it does the job it's supposed to do. James Wan is a great director, And it'll be interesting to see what kind of film Aquaman 2 will be when it's actually released and it's, you know, the theatrical version's out. Drake player, do you see Shazam 3 happening or Suicide Squad 3? Shazam 3, I don't see Shazam 3 happening. And I'm kind of doubtful for a Suicide Squad 3. I think if that continues, it's probably going to be in like kind of TV format, streaming form with like Peacemaker and stuff like that. I mean, he may bring that team back again for a Suicide Squad movie, but that ain't going to happen for a very long time if that ever does happen. MSGT, not that funny. Aquaman was the 6th DCEU movie. Avengers was also the 6th movie in the MCU. It sort of proves that the studio had to build to that billion, not just slap a title on it. Exactly. It's a really good film. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad it made money. Drake player, a Blue Beetle Booster Gold movie could be the unannounced Gods and Monsters project. Maybe. Well, there's a lot of Gods and Monsters projects coming out because they've only announced chapter 1 of part 1 of chapter 1. So they haven't announced everything in the first chapter yet. This is just some of the stuff. So there's a lot more stuff to come, not just one unannounced movie. But considering we're getting a Blue Beetle movie like this year, I would think we'll have to wait for whatever they do next. That'll be interesting, though. MSGT, there's a lot of unannounced. Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot to come. There's a lot to come. This is just the curtain raiser. The Anime Who Laughs is chapter 1, 8 to 10 years. No, I think altogether chapter 1 and 2 are an 8 to 10 year plan. Yeah, so it's not just one chapter. I think it's basically that basically they know what their first 2 chapters are going to be, and that's their 8 to 10 year plan. And obviously, if that's successful, there'll be a chapter 3, won't there? If it's not successful, there won't be. But let's see if they even get to the 8 to 10 year plan. Let's see what happens. Hopefully they do. Hopefully it works out. The Anime Who Lost, finally a quiet week as a DC fan. Well, it's only just started. Who knows? Who knows what's coming this week? MSGT, I bet Peacemaker will make appearances. The Waller Show would need to pop characters in and out. Otherwise, what are they doing? I think they've already said that there's definitely going to be some appearances from the Peacemaker show, the Peacemaker team. In Waller, I'm not sure if Peacemaker is part of that. Drake Player, Chapter D will probably be Crisis on Infinite Earths. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know about that, though. Maybe Chapter 2 is Dungeons and Dragons. You've had Gods and Monsters, now you get Dungeons and Dragons. Wizards and Witches. That's a good one. Then we can get what's her name? Who's the woman who can do magic? Zatanna. MSGT, what even is Crisis? I see that a lot. Crisis on Infinite Earths was a comic book from, I think, the 80s, and they did it on the Arrowverse. And it's basically a huge, big crossover between different universes. And what happens is all these different Earths in the multiverse start dying out. Basically, they did it to reboot the entirety of the DCEU because the multiverse kind of concept wasn't working in the comic book format. Drake Play, I'm surprised they didn't announce a Green Arrow and Black Canary project. The thing is, how many things can they announce, my friends? They can't service everything straight away. MSGT, I remember it was a comic miniseries in the 1980s. That's right. Basically, they had all these Earths going on at the same time in different graphic novels, and people were getting confused. So Crisis on Infinite Earths was supposed to basically reduce everything down, I think, to one Earth, and that's why that was the motivation of doing it. Now, in Arrowverse, they just did it for a huge crossover event. But it was huge, yeah. It was a huge comic book miniseries, which people love. I know what they should do in DCU. They shouldn't just have a Justice League. They should get a league and mix it with JSA members and iconic Justice League members. That would be fun. The Animator Who Lost, what's your favourite DC Elseworld? What do you mean from the movies that have been announced, or MSGT Gotham by Gaslight? Oh, that's a brilliant one, yeah. The animator who laughs. Mine is Injustice. Injustice is good. Drake player. Instead of Black Superman movie, we should get a Red Sun movie. Now that would be worth a view. I love the animated movie, by the way. I mean, it's a great graphic novel anyway, in its own right. Right, guys, we'll be ending tonight's stream very soon because I'm getting tired and I'm getting cold. It's about 2 or 3 Celsius outside, and I'm just wearing this. It's been a lively old chat. Never be ashamed of being a normal bloke. Don't worry about it. Just like it's okay to be transgender, just like it's okay to be gay or be any minority, it's also okay to be a straight bloke and have the vices of a straight bloke. Always remember that. Don't be ashamed. It's fine. It's fine to be attracted to hot women. It's fine. As long as you're respectful and you don't invade their space and freak them out, right? And appreciate them quietly. It's fine. Drake player, it gets cold in Cyprus. I mean, listen, obviously the summer is fantastic. 40 Celsius, beautiful weather. My doors are open, but my house is very, very big and it's very, very damp and you need a lot of petrol to heat it because my central heating is all fueled by petrol. That's a lot of fucking money. So it's very difficult to keep it going. It gets cold in the house, but the thing is with Cyprus, it gets proper winters and proper summers. So it does get cold here. I don't think it's been the coldest winter, but I do feel it in this house. It's very damp. MSGT, isn't there a Red Sun animated movie? There is. I've got it. It's brilliant. The animated laughs. It was a great live. Can't wait for the Flash trailer. Yeah, this Sunday, bring it on. A trailer and a TV spot, apparently. Obviously, I don't really care about the TV spot. It's all about the trailer. Bring on. 2.5-minute trailer, hopefully. It's going to be fun. Great live, though. I enjoyed it. Everyone who's been on here and chatted on here has made it a great live. It's nothing to do with me. It's to do with you. I mean, if I was a popular YouTuber and I said after stuff I said, if I was popular, I'd be cancelled 50 times over. But because nobody cares what I say, because I'm an insignificant YouTuber, I say what the fuck I want. Nobody gives a shit. MSGT laters, Mick. Thank you, MSGT. Great conversing with you tonight. Great opinions. Drake player, the Flash trailer will have lots of Keaton. Hope so, yeah. MSGT, go to bed. I'm going to have a cup of tea, a biscuit, a cigarette. I'm probably going to put the on. Or maybe Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm really getting into rewatching that. It's fucking hilarious. Drake player, he will say, want to get nuts? Let's get nuts! The animator who laughs. Am I the only one who hates rap music in DC trailers? Oh, all the radio songs, all songs. I hate all songs in trailers. I want proper composed music. I really used to love the Snyderverse trailers. They were so cool because they were so operatic, weren't they? I don't really, to be honest with you, I'm not really one for these kind of like songs in like comic book movies. I like the operatic composed music. I like the Hans Zimmer stuff. I love the Hans Zimmer stuff and the Junkie XL. That's the music I want to hear in CBMs. That Drake player, rap music is awesome. Rap music is awesome when you're listening to it at home randomly, but probably not in a superhero movie. What Black Adam did suddenly when he was fighting at the start of the film was just weird. MSGT, that's one of the things they screwed Air over with composition. Yeah, because they recut the movie together and they cut a brilliant score apparently and they replaced it with radio music. Ridiculous. Drake play. You can tell by my username, I love rap blow. Oh yeah, Drake. Oh yeah, Drake's very popular, especially with the young women, isn't he? I bet he puts it about. The animator who laughs. That's one good thing about the Snyderverse. Yeah, the music is outstanding. This has been Movies TV Mad. I admit your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again in the next video. I will be back tomorrow lunchtime for the DC Universe Daily. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. The animator who laughs, James Gunn loves music. He does, yeah. I must say about James, at least he chooses good songs. Drake player. See you, Mick. See you, Drake. See you, everyone. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for the people who turned up. Thank you for the 6 likes. If you rewatch it, if anyone new comes on and is rewatching this right now, please smash that like button. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye for now. See you later.